Welcome back to DM-Nastics, the gym for dungeon masters to work out their minds. I'm one of your hosts, DM Celeste, aka Sea Witch.
I'm your other host, DM Neil, aka Jote Moniac. Celeste, it is fantastic to have you back in the gym.
Yes, I'm excited to be here. Things have been so heckin' busy in my gym, my personal home gym. So I really appreciate everyone having all these fantastic guests and, making time so I can take care of business.
And business is being taken care of, but we have more business to take care of. I don't know what I named this. The Waking Dead. That's what it was. So it's like zombies.
Yes.
But they're not walking. They're waking up.
Yep. Excellent.
Great. On that note, so basically this one was inspired by having a longtime guest. I don't know if he has a golden jacket from us yet, but I think he's close. Lou Anders, who writes the Thrones and Bones series. So it's set basically in the frozen north, and it follows some giants. And one of the very first interactions is with a Draugr, it's in D&D, but it's also been in mythology for a really long time.
Yeah, and if you are familiar with the Skyrim game series, you've seen a glimpse of that kind of mythology brought into modern pop culture too.
So one of the things that we set out is with the exercise, because I think one of the key differences with the Draugr is it's that the reluctant stay of the undead while maintaining some intelligence. I guess it's a lich without magic. It's just that's it.
It's kind of like, I think revenants are probably like the closest thing, I would say. So people bound, into this kind of extra strong undeath for whatever reason to get vengeance or because of a lingering curse or magic. I think they're probably the what I think of most when I think of Draugr.
And I think of like going into the burial mound, having them show up and saying, hey, look, we got to fight. That's just how this works. Mm-hmm. And then if you can defeat me, great on you. You can have whatever's here. And thankfully, you've helped my soul pass on, go to rest, wherever it may be in your particular world. So the questions were basically enter the Draugr, encounter the Draugr, and earnings of the Draugr. So basically, how does it show up? What do you do? And what do you get?
Cool. Yeah. So we have a post here from our fantastic friend of the show, Letter Lost. Great to see you moved over to the Discord too, buddy. So long ago in Frost Timber, a chief was poisoned at a feast. And basically, the shaman of this tribe was super angry about it. And oh my God, surrounded like the whole place with thorns. The setting, it became Thorn Hollow. And so this feast turned into this absolute nightmare as soon as the chief was dead. And this whole feast hall became this horrible place, trapping all the souls of everybody who were there. So now they're all Draugr, and then just basically trying to suck the life out of anything alive. They're feasting death. So also, some flavor on here too. Whenever these Draugr are slain, they reform after a day. So to free them, you have to recover this special cup of Exonia Kool-Aid. Oh, good. Oh, good. And then, of course, you have to defeat the Draugr shaman, who was the one who originally, cast this spell, this curse upon this place. Cool.
I think this is hits on kind of the ideas behind the Draugr in that it's not just a horde of undead, which is always fun. Definitely, if you have a cleric, throw one out there. At one point, no rhyme, no reason. At one point, let that poor cleric turn something.
Let them turn. Let them do it.
Yeah, and I always feel bad because I always play clerics, so I never bother. It doesn't bother me because I'm just I'll move around.
That's why Tales the Valiant, we changed it to be Turn the Profane, so at least they can get fiends too. So they have undead and fiends, doubling those chances, baby. That one day you'll get to use that.
There's just demons,
and
but yeah, the idea of also having it be a little bit of a puzzle, I think, is also. Because if you wanted to throw out the Draugr that sits up and has a riddle, or the Draugr that even just more mundane things of okay, you didn't take that specific item. Because was it this cup, or I feel like calling it a chalice makes it even better. But was it that the shaman imbued that chalice with this, and then they all drank from it because it's part of their their ritual of their feast.
Or maybe that was the chalice that had the poison drink that killed the chief in the first place, right? So that's kind of the central piece of this spell,
Yeah, and then having it, you go, you defeat them, and I don't know. Every group's not going to like this idea, but the idea of like you go, you defeat them, you did it, you go back, you're triumphant, you're in town, you take a rest because of course you do. It's between, oh, cool, they're back.
Oh, they're back. Wait, what? Right? And then that moment of, oh God, just killing them isn't the answer. I mean, I think, yeah, depending on your party, that can either be frustrating or very cool. So I think if you really set it up right, I think it's a cool moment. It's sort of like with cryptid hunts or like Monster of the Week style stuff, like you always encounter the monster, right? And get your butt kicked by it. And then you figure out how you can actually defeat it. And the next confrontation, it goes much better.
I think also like using the word cryptid, I think helps this as well in the sense that Thorn Hollow is going to be a place that's known by everyone.
Oh yeah, it's haunted for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And it could be that for a very long period of time, it's just Thorn Hollow. Just don't go over there.
Yeah.
But something has changed. They're starting to, attack livestock.
Yeah, or people disappear. Another band of adventurers tried to go in there and they've never come back and it's a whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Or the town wants to like move out that direction, but they can't with Thorn Hollow there. But basically having a story to pass behind it, I think is really important for like selling that feel of the Draugr.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, I think we've done it. So that means you and I get to lift the mental weights right now.
Lifting weights is what I do. Look at me. Lift these weights.
So the question is, how would you introduce a Draugr?
Yeah. There's a lot of different things you can do with them, right? Like with this concept. So there's a lot going on here, but I think, you were mentioning before, like making sure there is a real like story element that like draws in the players. So I almost feel like you have to start with the Draugr affecting some neutral party, right? And then that's how the PCs themselves figure out what's going on here. So maybe there's something like this Draugr has this really important artifact that is necessary to help someone else or whatever. And like this Draugr, if they've just been like accumulating these treasures from the surrounding area, like the PCs are like, okay, cool, we got to go get the thing. Oh, wait, who has it? That kind of business. Or if some like NPC has a loved one who gets turned into a Draugr, I feel like is also a really compelling thing. And that NPC is like, please help the soul of my loved one, be at rest.
I think also if you take the N off, you could just have it be a PC that also like that could be their background or their quest is this item that I need. They may not even know where it is and then come to find that item is being protected by a Draugr. On the opposite side, they may absolutely know that that's where it is.
Yeah.
And they're eventually trying to convince the party, oh, hey, we should go check this out. There's a terrible undead.
Yeah.
And we need to stop it. I have no ulterior motives whatsoever.
Ooh, it'd be fun if you had a PC who died in the group that became a Draugr, and then all the stuff they were holding for the party, like your bag of holding, with all the party's goods were like on their person. That would be so cruel and hard to set up, but extremely fun.
I mean, I think of like if you had like a noble background or something like that, where they have an item or imbued with magic in one way or another that when they pass, their body goes to a certain resting place.
Ooh, I just had an idea for one we could make. We could make like, what if there was a king or a lord or a queen or something who was like super greedy and whatever in life. And then they do die and they become a Draugr, but they're still in their like castle with all of their riches and wealth and they continue to rule forever. And this is like some kind of either intentional or like worked out weirdly in their favor sort of situation. So they actually have living people who are still there. They can't leave their castle probably, but they're there with all their treasures and have this like country or area just in this eternal nightmare of their grip.
You could even, they are like the true figurehead behind the throne.
Yeah.
And then you have either, I think of Gondor where you have the steward, or even you just have a false face of a king.
The king is like always masked, right? And stops public appearances or whatever. And
I was totally just going to have a total fake and then you just keep replacing it because it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what if you had like a line of people where they are basically destined to be the false king?
Yep.
And so then father, son, daughter.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. And like down in the vaults, you have this, the Draugr who's really in power.
I would even have them not there. I would literally have like a throne room behind the throne room where they're just seated there. And then it's like, so you mean I've been in this chamber and there's been a huge, terrifying undead right behind every time I've been in here? Yep. That's what's been happening.
Yep. And that's even fun too, because if they're hidden, then if you have like paladins and stuff with that detect feature, right? Like, oh my God, I don't see any undead, but like there is some evil vibes coming off of this castle and nobody knows who they are or what's really going on.
I mean, in the same token, as campaign as we just made that, you could easily just have them stumble into a mound.
Yeah.
And it be like a barrow that they have. And there's a Draugr and they fight it and they take the stuff and like all of those options. And you could have that lower level encounter, but still have it be a little bit more interesting because this character that's going to fight them is going to run their mouth the entire time.
Oh yeah.
Talk trash on them. Cause part of it is like, I just want to die. I want to die. And you can help facilitate that. So anything I can do to instigate that process, I'm going to do it. I'm going to attack you. I'm going to say mean things about you and the rest of your party.
Oh, man. If we embrace that angle, too, for our same Draugr idea, like, what if the family keeps this Draugr here against their will, like, locked in the vaults, like, down below? The Draugr wants to die, is, like, out of here, but the family is like, no, we won't let you die. You're going to live forever, or whatever, and they're trapped down there.
Yeah, you're leveraging the power of that like, basically tying that family line to this Draugr to maintain the throne and the power.
Ooh, woof. That's like, however gothic horror you want to go, there are definitely some degrees, there to play with.
Yeah, and the other thing I think about it a lot with this one is like the thematic nature that you can choose. I mean, obviously, in my head and in my ever graying beard, that is covered, in a lot of dwarven or Nordic runes or something like that. Like that's just where my head goes. I mean, that's kind of the basic inspiration, like you were saying, with like the Oblivion and Thrones and Bones and things like that. But there's nothing to say that you can't adapt that more to the setting or environment.
Oh, for sure.
Found yourself in. I mean, obviously, a careful hand when doing these sorts of things. But like, why not adapt it to like a more modern setting? There's nothing stopping you from it being on a pirate ship.
Yeah. Or if you want to go really modern, like in a mausoleum, in a cemetery, in the middle of a city, like, there's lots of different possibilities here. And I mean, what's nice about undead is, I mean, everybody dies in every culture and they all have different, burial rites and rituals and lots of ways to play with those stories and those beliefs and really, turn things on their head.
Yeah, I think about like the Paris catacombs.
Right, yeah, the jeweled skeletons and like the French catacombs, right, and all this, those saint like casks that they found, down below, like the streets of these European cities and all kinds of stuff. And what's nice about Draugr too is it kind of gives you that same satisfaction of like stories you could tell with like a vampire, a lich, or a mummy, but Draugr can be lower CR, so you can, tell these stories earlier in a campaign without having to wait for these higher levels.
Okay. This is now my favorite version of a Draugr. Viking funeral.
Yeah.
They don't die.
They stay on the boat.
A Draugr, a burning ship.
Ooh, a burning ship full of treasure forever. I love that. Then you get some cool ghost ship nonsense.
Oh yeah, so then you're just kind of sailing along and you have, either the PC or NPC that's in the crow nest.
Yeah.
And they're just like, hey, what's that? And a small flaming ship is headed straight towards you.
Whoa. Yeah, that's freaky. That'd be fun. And then like the people who shipped them out like didn't know, right? They might not even know that what they did, that they created this thing.
A proper Viking burial at sea. And
they're good. And we're not worrying about it. It's off to the sea. And then all of a sudden it's like,
since we shot it with an arrow.
Yeah, what?
What are you talking about?
Oh, we burned it.
The PCs drag it back and they're like, is this yours?
Yeah, but what we didn't know was that he was wearing this cursed, amulet when he died or whatever. Or like some, jerk in the tribe was like, I hate this dude, and like snuck a little cursed, thing on there that kept him undead forever.
Yeah, which is also the other thing of figuring out the undo, because it may not be. And in a lot of ways, I don't think it should be as simple as I've defeated it.
Yeah.
I've defeated it and...
Yeah, I've righted some kind of wrong. So again, like, thinking of them like revenants is really useful, because revenants usually come back, or like ghosts, right? Like, what is the thing that lays them to rest? Yeah.
Yeah. Is it finding their true killer? Is it, destroying that chalice we talked about in the beginning? Is it carrying their sword out of the burial mound? Is it...
getting a confession or that, yeah.
Yeah, there's so many different ways to do that. And the other fun thing, I think, is also, does undoing it do it to someone else?
Yeah.
So, like, you've undone it for this Draugr, but is it the PC that's carrying that sword? Are they now destined?
Are those family members who trapped that family member who became a Draugr now going to be Draugr because of what they did,
It makes me think of there's an episode of Rick and Morty where Morty is going back to all the planets they've been at and like
seeing the consequences.
And like rewriting the rights, where it's like there's this giant hole, basically like, there's a giant spaceship hole, and it's like leaking all this water. But the idea that like you remove the one Draugr only to find out like down the line in the campaign that all that did was turn all of those family members into Draugr at the same time. So now instead of one, they ended up with, let's say, a half dozen. And then, like going and rewriting that wrong kind of. But if you like this and you wanted to tell us about how you've added Draugr to your campaigns, you can always email us at DM-Nastics@gmail.com, or head over to Twitter, or X, the social media platform formerly known as Twitter, but if you type in X, it actually just does a redirect. And we're at DMS_block. I am at Joke Maniac, and Celeste is at C. Conowitch. And for everything else on the network, blockpartypodcastnetwork.com.
A huge thank you to the bards over on Bombarded for our intro and outro music. You can find out more about Bombarded at bombardedcast.com.
Well, with that, let's head to the post-workout cool down and stretch with The Light Bulb.
Light bulb.
What you got, Neil?
So, a friend of mine gave me this, and I thought it would be perfect.
Ooh.
Okay, so today we have what is known as the Spell Codex.
Ooh.
And it comes to us from Dragon Shield. So they do a lot of the, like, holders for certain things.
Oh, cool.
So, it has that feel of a leather-bound tome with some nice
it's so pretty.
iconography on it. So, Celeste, ooh, nice. A little magnet holder.
Yeah, it's
Celeste.
Purple and gold and shiny.
So what this is going to take your spell cards that you've gotten previously and be a portfolio binder to hold the cards.
Oh, so it's like your spell book.
Mm-hmm. So then you would actually be able, divide them up by level, go through. Oh, can I write on this? Oh, and then it has like a spell. It actually has a spell tracker with a marker. The other nice thing about that is once you put the spells in there, you could like write on them or mark and then erase that after the
nice. So you can like cross out the ones that you've cast and
And then, okay, this is the most random thing. I had not opened this yet, but I had it and I was ready. Basically it has a Dragon Shield mini adventure on the inside.
Oh.
And so it has the essence of Purpura, the large legendary arcane dragon. Yeah, so it just has like a dragon encounter.
Nice.
With like a super cool dragon image on it.
Yeah, like just a card insert thing.
Yeah, literally I was like, wait, what is this? And it's just a card insert.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you want to fight a dragon with your spells?
Cool.
Yeah, so it's like super straightforward. It looks like it would take the most standard cards, like my mind is just seeing Pokemon because that's all I put in card.
Yeah. I mean, all of the Wizards of the Coast spell cards, Coil Press spell cards. Everybody has spell cards. Hit Boy Press has their own too. So that's really cool. I like that it's like a classy, nice feeling. So when you pull it out, you can sort of like role play a little bit like this is my spell book, right? Instead of, a lot of those are pretty basic looking. So that really feels nice.
Yeah. So it has basically 8 cards per sheet and quite a few sheets. And what I do like with this one is that they're both internal side loading. This is going to get way too much into cards, but basically instead of top loading, because when you top load, a lot of things can still get into the cards and they can fall out really easily if you hold it upside down. But these are all side loaded, so basically you have a lot less chance of things falling out.
Ooh, that's nice. Yeah, side loading is rad. I've started doing that with my True Dungeon tokens into coin slots, and it's the way to go. That's nice.
Oh, and it will hold up to 160 spell cards.
God, all right, Wizards, get ready, collect all those scrolls.
So, what's your goal in this campaign? I'm filling this up. Yeah, so you want to be successful? I don't know.
The GM looks in terror, like, okay.
Yeah. So, well, there we go. And the best thing about it is I know exactly who can have that because my son plays a dwarf wizard.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, for the wizard in your life, everybody.
His hands are smaller. So, like, that's the other thing.
Yeah.
I think my thing is, as much as I love spell cards, I feel like this is way better because I always feel like I'm taking so much time.
Right.
So much effort to, like, cycle through the spell cards and then get there, and then I never find the right one, and inevitably it's in alphabetical order, so like I don't know why, but I'm struggling. It's like the pressure of the turn of like no I have
I know I have my magic missile spell card somewhere. How does it work?
And this you could literally just set it up by spell alphabetical order, be super
and you can look at multiple at once, so if you want to look at all your first level spells all in one sheet, that's really nice.
We'll have a link in the show notes. Again, it's the spell codex from Dragon Shield.
Awesome.
But with that, we'll turn out the lights and head out of the gym.
Before we go, I want to implore you, the listener, to join the forums, the Discord, Twitter, and anywhere else you can find us and take part in these challenges, exercises, and other amazing conversations being had.
To do that, head over to Dungeon Masters Block. Head over to dungeonmastersblock.freeforums.net and try some DM-Nastics. So your players don't ask, do you even live?